Life is filled with information and prescribed ways of doing things. It can feel like a lot to navigate as you take into account differing opinions and societal narratives. What if there was a way for you to move through this process in a way that felt really freeing and empowering? Hello, and welcome to the Connect Podcast. This show is all about helping you connect to your soul's calling so you can take action on it. Because the sweetest success is a blend of discovering your purpose with the inner drive to bring it to life. I'm Sheila, health coach, lifestyle entrepreneur, and mom of two, best known for my online wellness programs, mentoring, and self-love passion. Listen in for inspiring interviews, solo chats, and Q&A sessions that will move you past overwhelm towards what lights you up. Stop accepting good enough and go for your version of great in your health, business, and relationships. Let's get started. Hi, welcome to this Monday minisode where I share an insight designed to help you live into what lights you up this week. How is your week going? How is your start to this last quarter of the year going? It has been an interesting week for us. And one thing that I have found that has been so incredibly grounding for me is to continue to get curious in those times where I'm finding there's certain answers that I'm looking for that are taking a little longer to get. And when I find myself perhaps struggling with a roadblock or some kind of tech glitch or something, there have been a lot of those this week. And getting curious helps me disconnect from the attachment to having to have everything work out in the way that I envision it to. Because I don't know about you, but I have found that I may make my plans and they don't always go exactly as I have planned. Sometimes they work out so much better. That's been the case a lot of the time, actually. Sometimes things just don't work out at all. And it's a time where I am forced to sit with myself and just allow the experience to happen. And regardless of whether things work out or they don't, I always learn something. And that is where curiosity has been such a great gift to me, because I find myself in the question instead of asking just like, why is this happening to me? Why me? The question is more, what is this happening to teach me about? Like, why am I here in this experience? What is it trying to teach me? What can I learn? How can I move forward with new knowledge in this experience? When I get curious, it takes that emotional charge away of even getting me into blame mode, right? Very often if things don't work out, we can just want to look to somebody to blame. And I will do that sometimes too, because it's easier to blame somebody than to actually take responsibility, right? Like we want somebody else to fix things at times. But when I sit with my curiosity, it takes all of that away. It has me finding myself, what could I have done differently? And next time, what could I do differently? It's a beautiful phrase, actually, that I learned from a beautiful human named Lou Tice. He did a lot of workshops, actually, with world leaders and with business owners, and he did just so many beautiful things in terms of conflict resolution as well. And he had this saying that he would use over and over that I really loved to adopt, and it was, next time I. When you find yourself in a situation where you may not have made the best decision and you didn't know until after the fact, or maybe you flew off the handle or said some things you shouldn't have, or you felt bad about, or perhaps a decision you made that was just too quick of a decision and things didn't work out the way you wanted them to. Instead of berating yourself and instead of just going down the rabbit hole of blame and shame, it's to stop yourself, acknowledge what happened, and then resolve to move forward by saying, next time I will do this. Next time I will do that. Next time I will consider this. It gets your mind out of that victim kind of mode and into victor, into controlling your destiny, into making a move that can potentially yield to some beautiful results later on. And if anything, it just interrupts your pattern. And it's something that I've taught to my kids over the years as well, because even in parenting them, as we're growing up, we're learning things and we might do things that we shouldn't have done and we didn't realize until the moment happened. And then trying to come through that time can feel emotionally charged. And instead of just blaming and being angry, even though sometimes that happens, what I would do is say, it wasn't ideal what happened, and they understood. Like, so often, this is what I found with my kids. They know they don't want to do the thing again that maybe they weren't supposed to do. And sometimes it just happens in the midst of it where they realize that. And so instead of berating them for the situation, we would talk about all of the things, get everything out onto the table, and we would determine, well, next time, what would be a better solution? And teaching them that phrase, next time which I don't know that they use it a whole lot now. I remember talking to them a lot about that when they were younger. But it was reminded to me this week when I was going through something and I realized, whoa, okay, my response can be different. So next time, here's what I'm going to do. And it's such an empowering thought. And that is where the curiosity comes in. It's asking yourself the question, well, what could I do differently next time? What kind of result would have happened had I responded this way instead? And what could potentially happen in the future if I respond this way instead, or if I make this choice, or I take this time, or I sit with myself and really think about things before I move forward? Or, there's so many different paths that you can be led down when you follow your curiosity. So as you go into your week, keep that in mind and think about if you're trying to instill a new habit, if you're wanting to move into a new role with your team where you're leading them into a new direction, if you're trying to parent your kids in a certain way, if you're trying to get to a new, beautiful state with your partner, start using that question. What could I do differently next time? Next time I plan to do this or that. Get curious with it. And when you do, you'll be so surprised at what comes up. It takes the emotional charge away and it gets your creativity flowing. And you can actually find yourself starting to have fun in the midst of sometimes chaotic times. Because when we're stuck in the chaos, sometimes we can't see our way out. But when we get curious, that's when things start to feel a little bit more free. And don't we all want to feel a bit more free in our day-to-day lives? That is gold. That is magic when we can have that feeling. And I believe one of the ways we can have that is starting with our curiosity. I leave that with you this week. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you have a week that you feel really tapped in and tuned into what you're meant to be doing and who you're meant to be showing up in the world as. And I thank you for listening. I hope you have an incredibly beautiful week. And I look forward to seeing you on Wednesday for our very first interview of this season. You're going to love hearing all about what my guest is sharing. And soon you're going to be hearing some new music and a new intro for the podcast. As I had mentioned in a previous episode, this has been running for 2 years and I wanted a refresh with the music. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Big blessings. Thank you so much for being here with me on the Connect podcast. If you like this episode, please share it with someone you think would enjoy it. Also, if you head over to iTunes to leave a review, I'd be so grateful. Let us know what your favorite parts were and what you'd like to hear more of. It will help us have a greater impact, elevating many more people to grow and succeed together. See you next time.